The transition period, which should allow Great Britain to leave the EU smoothly, ends on December 31st. This will cement Brexit in everyday life. Time to say goodbye to the island. When the British end something, they like to do it with the folk song Auld Lang Syne. They traditionally sing it at the turn of the year. It sounds at the end of party conferences and year after year at the end of the last night of the Proms. Even MEPs in the European Parliament sang the song this January after the vote on the exit agreement with Great Britain. Nothing draws a line under something like Auld Lang Syne, which is perhaps also due to the fact that the singers, at least before Corona, traditionally shook hands and let them swing a little. Whatever may come, together we can do it. This year there is a special sign of New Year's Eve, and not just because of the pandemic that hit Great Britain hard. The transition period, which the United Kingdom was still bound by many EU regulations despite Brexit, ends on December 31st. So at this special New Year's turn the question arises: what does Brexit really have in store for the British? And what about the other Europeans? Can a dusty folk song even help? Because of the travel restrictions caused by the corona crisis, hardly anyone noticed. But so far, continental Europeans still do not need a passport to travel to the United Kingdom, just an ID card. According to the European customs regulations, you can shop as you wish. You can make calls without roaming charges and enjoy many other advantages of the European Union. Much of it ends on January 1st. The Interior Ministry in London has already announced that it will no longer accept ID cards for entry in the medium term. And Europeans who fall ill in Great Britain will soon need international travel health insurance. Nothing can be done there with the European health card. Due to the expected customs controls, ferry operators assume that there will be long lines of cards at the ports between continental Europe and Great Britain. The British government is currently even paving an entire field on the motorway to Dover in order to be able to cushion the expected truck avalanche there. Irish shipping companies therefore want to go directly to France in the future without the previous stop in Great Britain. It seems that no hurdle has been missed to make the future coexistence between the British and the other Europeans a little more difficult. Yet, given the scale of the changes, there is surprisingly little protest. But why? One of the most inviolable qualities of the British is their pragmatism. It's best to get it over and done with, they say. Rather an end with horror than horror without end. It's the same for many when it comes to Brexit. After more than 4 years of debates, they are simply exhausted. The question is anyway, how much Europe was ever in the UK? Today, even foreign supermarkets like Aldi are starting to print the Union Jack, the British flag, on British products. Which one, by the way? Aldi Nord or Aldi Süd? That one was just for my German viewers. They want to suggest we are one of you. Word hardly got around in everyday life that many of the achievements of modern Britain, labour rights, trade relations, infrastructure aid, were, strictly speaking, marginal phenomena of EU membership. What counts for many Brits is still the Victorian shell around the otherwise cosmopolitan everyday life. In this respect, Brexit is the logical consequence of a complex of the past that has been suppressed for decades. Could Brexit lead to some kind of awakening? Many are skeptical about this. Nobody wins at Brexit, said Scott Crouch, co-founder of the PR agency BPRC in Augsburg, a native of England and often and happily on the island, both professionally and privately. Apart from all economic consequences, his company is closely tied to British customers. He is particularly concerned about personal fate. My nieces and nephews in England will not have the same opportunities as my children in Germany, he fears, only because some politicians have played their power games. Hardly anything illustrated the power struggle between political opponents as much as a long-standing debate over Brexit. First, the right-wing UK Independence Party drove the then Conservative Prime Minister David Cameron along. Then it was Boris Johnson who made life difficult for his party colleague Theresa May. Now, Johnson himself is under pressure because of his seemingly haphazard Corona zigzag course because of an aristocratic leadership style and an increasing fatigue in office. But it is too late for the still large group of European fans among the British. Petra Bigging is one of the 3.7 million EU foreigners in the UK. The German teacher has lived in Belfast for more than 20 years. What will she miss after December 31st? I was worried that I would no longer be able to shop at Lidl, says the mother of two who still finds a piece of home in the supermarket. But much more serious for them is the loss of the European health insurance card, which has so far made treatment on both sides of the British border very easy. When the transition period ends on New Year's Eve, many UK fans should flare up a little sadness. But it is probably time to admit that the good old days that lived on the island were rarely based on the fact that Great Britain was part of the EU. People never came because of the quick passport controls or the EU-compliant legislation. They came because of original British clichés, because of the Queen, 5 o'clock tea, Sherlock Holmes, Harry Potter and Rosamunde Pilcher. A Brexit will not change that. Keep calm and carry on. It's said on an old poster designed by the British government during the Second World War and now often shown in souvenir shops. Keep calm and carry on. Maybe New Year's Eve is the right time to heed this old mantra once more. And I personally have to say, I am really sorry for many people in the UK, especially my friends over there, and what they probably have to expect after January 1st with everything the way it looks right now, because it's not very likely that on Sunday there will be any progress. I'm getting more and more certain that there could be the fact that we end up with a no deal on December 31st and then they will drag on negotiations for months. And so we all on both sides of the channel will have to feel what Brexit really means. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget my 2 new channels. I'll see you in my next video. Viel Spaß!